Okay, so don't confuse dietary cholesterol with blood cholesterol levels. Okay. And remember, cholesterol is not an essential nutrient. We don't need to consume it because the body is going to make it. And Ansel Keys, the guy who did the famous Minnesota starvation experiment back in sort of 1945, and also the guy who did the 7 countries study, he spent a lot of time in the 50s looking at whether or not dietary cholesterol had any impact on blood cholesterol levels, and he concluded that it didn't. And we haven't deviated from that. That is not very widely known, but it is a nutritional fact. Dietary cholesterol has no impact on blood cholesterol levels. Now, the only thing that dietary cholesterol might do is it might say to the body, okay, you don't need to make quite as much because the person has just consumed some. But, you know, experiments have been done feeding people 20 to 30 eggs a day, eggs, of course, being very rich in cholesterol. And it doesn't make any difference whatsoever to blood cholesterol levels. It might make a slight difference to how much the body makes versus how much the body extracts from food. But the body has a cholesterol requirement, and the body will make the cholesterol that it needs to meet that requirement. So dietary cholesterol is irrelevant. And I think that the American dietary guidelines woke up to this. They certainly did in the 2020 American dietary guidelines. It might even have been in the 2015 that they actually put in a statement saying dietary cholesterol is no longer a nutrient of concern. It's like, well, it never was a nutrient of concern. You know, we've known that since the 1950s, and that hasn't changed. So it's just kind of like the calories. It's one of those myths that just kind of gets out into the ether. And, you know, saturated fat is bad for you, fiber is good for you, or whatever. I do find if you get a question at a conference and somebody says, oh, what about saturated fat? And you say, well, what is saturated fat? They got no idea. Or what is fiber? You know, just all this stuff that they regurgitate. And when you sort of throw it back at them, Gary Fettke, actually, Dr. Gary Fettke from your Down Under, he has fellow doctors saying to him, well, you know, what about cholesterol? And he'll say, what is cholesterol? Yeah. And they can't even answer him. So, you know, it's like, well, shut up and go away until you can answer the most basic question of what you're throwing at me. Just stop it. Just, you know, go away and do a bit of research.